Right.
Is that fine now? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, so how far away was that fire, eh? Ha ha ha! Oh, we're recording. Salutations, listeners, and welcome to another riveting episode of Amicable Age. As usual, I'm joined by my co-host. It's Declan McCrory. Woo! So what are we talking about today, Deck?
I believe. Well, you're starting. Aren't you?
I'm starting.
Your 10 films that you love. Well, you feel a lot more attached to
Than everyone else seems to be.
Yeah.
So it's worth putting this disclaimer up. If you disagree with these films, that just further proves my point. They're only I love them, and it's just personal opinions. We just get casual enjoyment from these films. We're not claiming any of them are actual masterpieces. I think that's
Yeah.
fair to
Some of
say.
them, it's like the film's like a 2 out of 3 out of 10, and we think it's like a 5 or 6
A
out
5
of
or
10.
6, yeah,
It's not a 10.
That's a
Like,
good description right there. So we ready?
Think so, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'll go straight into
Number 1. Oh, it's 10 each. as
yeah,
well.
these are not really in a proper order, I've got to say. But The Lady Killers, but the remake by the Coen brothers.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen
Okay.
this film?
Yeah, not for a long time.
Not for a
to be
long
fair, because
time.
I'm not a big Coen Brothers fan.
Okay, so
No, I don't dislike them, but I don't
No.
love them as much as everyone else.
that's
sadly.
fair enough.
So tell me about your
So
thoughts
yeah,
on it.
so for anyone who doesn't know the plot, and you might not remember it because it was a while
I kind of
ago,
get it, yeah.
it's basically the same as the first film. 5 criminals use an old woman's house as a front for their robbing-based activities. It's on a riverboat casino this time instead of a train station, but the plot is basically the same. And you know what? I like this. I don't think it's amazing, but I quite like
Well,
this film.
what's the reviews for this film?
You have to go a really long way to find anything like a positive syllable about
Really?
it. Anyway, yeah. Like
Really?
it has something shocking on Rotten Tomatoes, and like I looked on because I was thinking about buying it first because I just wanted to compare it to the old one, which is amazing.
What do you think of the old one? I was going to say,
Awesome.
yeah, big fan of it.
Amazing.
Big
Yeah,
fan
I
of it.
really like the old one. So it's not as good.
I
fair
haven't
enough,
seen the original actually. So
But like, yeah, everyone was saying like, do not bother with this film. Life's too short. A few people even said like,
Jesus.
a few
The
people.
Coen Brothers, then?
Yeah,
They're, like,
I know.
seen as probably
Exactly.
the greatest directors of our time.
Exactly. And like a few people even said like, I've only put 1 star because you have to because of the system. Like they thought that was too generous.
Oh Jesus, okay.
But I thought, I thought it was funny for one thing, and that's what it wants to be.
Is it as off the kill? Like, did you find it? Because I assume that the original isn't the same sort of sense of humor. I'm assuming.
No, it's not.
No.
It's not. But I like that, and it's got, as bizarre as it sounds, there is some pretty strong world building in this film.
There always is.
Yeah, there is. But like in this one, you especially didn't expect it because of the Slade reviews. But like all the characters are really good. It's not a hashed over retread as well of the old one, which I like. Like a lot of the characters have changed, but they were important. The important traits are still there. So like the old woman's a lot more sassy now, but her role in the story still exactly the same. It's one of the best examples of like changing characters in what seems like a radical way, but when you think about it, everything that's important is still there. Another good film that does that is Spider-Man: Homecoming, but not on this list because everyone loves.
So like Spider-Man: Homecoming, it's the same. We've all seen the 2 other Spider-Man intros.
Yeah.
So like it was good for them to go. Let's sidestep a little bit.
Yeah.
And avoid we don't need to go this.
The origin
Parker,
story. Yeah. It's exactly what this film does.
Basically, what's wrong with every Batman film? At this
every
point,
Batman film, exactly the same parents' dead thing. But yeah, another thing about this film, and which is underrated, the soundtrack is so well fitted into it. It's one of the best. There's one bit where they I won't say what they do because it is like plot relevant, but they're doing something, and this rap song's like trouble in, trouble out, and it's like it fits so well with the scene. You're actually like, well, I say you are. I mean, is it like hypnotizingly good?
Is it what's what I'm looking for? Is it their only sort of bad? Is it their only miss apart from Garfield, which wasn't technically them, but one of them?
Were they involved in it at all?
Wasn't it?
I didn't know that.
Wasn't it Andy Cohen who made?
It's not Andy Cohen. It's Joel and Ethan.
Oh, it's Ethan Cohen.
So it must just be another Cohen.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's Bill Murray signed up for Garfield thinking it was a Coen Brothers film.
Oh, is that what happened?
It was something like Andy Cohen or something. It was
right.
like barely like there's a
that
connection
makes more
there.
sense.
Yeah, I'm talking crap. Sorry about that.
Burn After Reading is divisive. I think some people love it and some people hate it. I need to watch it again.
Because I mean, from what I didn't even realize, it's like I think most people are at the point now where they think The Big Lebowski is the single greatest comedy ever made. Which good. I wouldn't say, but
no, I wouldn't say. It's not even on my top 10. It's not my favorite Coen Brothers
I need
film.
to rewatch it. To be fair, I've been told you just need to sit and rewatch it.
Yeah, it is good, but it's not my favorite Coen Brothers.
What's your favorite Coen Brothers?
Well, that's on my top 10 films ever. So
I
might reserve that for when we do the top 10.
Fair.
But yeah, this one, the performances are solid, the story is solid, the changes they made are all welcome changes. Every character's there for a reason, like I said. none of them are too forcefully quirky, which they weren't in the old film either. But it's like you expect remakes. They magnify things all the time,
Did
and
people
this
hate
one
it?
they don't.
But yeah, is it because it's a remake?
I think so, because
like
a lot of people like not comparable to the original, which it isn't. But that doesn't mean it's a bad film if you forget that the original exists.
Fair.
Which I think a lot of the time you have to if you're watching a remake. That's just a given for me a lot of the time.
Well, yeah, I think so. To be fair, yeah.
Apart from like I don't with the Disney live action ones, but the less said about them.
But yeah, any other? What would you give it? So you're saying it's a 0 essentially.
Yeah, everyone says it's a 0. I'd say.
Is it good?
Yeah, I'd say it's good. I've watched it a few times and have been like, yeah, I was satisfied by it.
It wasn't like you didn't watch it and go instantly watch it again and go, this is crap.
No, I actually like. I don't see what most of the complaints are about. Like,
you still struggle.
Yeah,
fair. Especially when you haven't read, because I think this is the problem people go into. So if they released any of those big hype films, they released a new Marvel film, a new new Pixar film, that's because Cars Pixar thing. We're going new DC film, whatever. If everyone says it's good, everyone comes out and goes, "Oh, it was good."
Yeah.
If everyone says it's bad,
everyone's like,
before
"Oh, yeah."
people had seen Suicide Squad,
Frozen is the classic example.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So I was gonna say, did you rewatch it and go no, or like?
I rewatched it and I was like, admittedly, I haven't seen it for a while, so if I watched it at this age now, it might be an entirely different story.
Fair.
But I thought if I was basing it more on the fact that I hadn't seen him for a while, I wouldn't have a list at all, basically.
I know.
So
we should point out this was really difficult. To be honest.
This was a genuine struggle, and then I found too many. It was a struggle for
because then you open the gates up. You're like films that are like a 50% than you think are a 60%.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that all you have to say on?
Yeah, I think so. So the Coen Brothers Lady Killers, check it out if you like what people assume is a bad film but isn't.
Yeah, to be mildly surprised.
Hopefully. About hopefully. I definitely was. I can't say you definitely will be if you're listening. For my next one, I'm gonna go. They're not even in a proper order, to be fair.
Not at all, no.
I'm saving the one that's gonna have a more of a ooh reaction for last. A bit more of a hoo reaction for last.
Fair.
But what have I got now? Right, I'm gonna go. I didn't know this film was panned, but Thumbelina.
Is that panned?
Yeah, most people don't like it. It had I checked Rotten Tomatoes, it had something shocking, and a few people I know, a lot of them think it's great. A lot of them are really not fussed at all. And I think this is a really good film.
It's the same guy, just the backstory. It's the same guy as Anastasia.
Yeah, Don Bluth. Don
Bluth.
And I think I might prefer this to Anastasia.
Really?
Of his work.
It's another non-Disney film.
It's it's a classic example of
a classic Disney film that isn't.
But yeah, this film, it's not immediate. They're not in your face about it, but I think it visually is pretty stunning.
It's different.
It's different.
The two of them look
that's
a
the
bit
word
odd,
I'd say.
like to normal Disney. They don't have the same colours.
No, they don't. No, they don't have the same structure.
Which I like. That's why he left Disney. He wanted to do
his own stuff. Yeah.
So if he left Disney and then made things that look exactly like the sort of Princess and the Frog animation, then he shouldn't have left.
Then he should have stayed with Disney because they're doing it. Yeah. But this I think it's well plotted, surprisingly, because it feels like a random chain of events. But that's what road movies are, and people don't say, "Oh, I don't like road movies because they're random."
I would compare it to like Alice in Wonderland or something like that.
It is not far off, yeah.
Falling through a world.
I think it's a bit more coherent because a lot of characters come back in this, and they do, like when you see them in Alice in Wonderland, they are gone.
It's a joke essentially.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? That sort of tumbling through a world.
Definitely, yeah. So I like this. The song "On the Road" the frog sing. That is one of my favorite villain songs of all time, specifically because of how comparatively nice it sounds.
Yeah.
I think that's really clever there. It doesn't sound like a villain song when you think about it. They're like, no, these are definitely like the villains in this scene. And there's that bit. When did you last watch Thumbelina? Is it a while ago?
It'll be a couple of years. It's on. It's one of those films that I've watched 20 minutes of a lot, but I already sat down and watched it a couple of times.
Yeah, a couple of times.
Same with Anastasia is always on ITV3.
Is Anastasia always on?
Yeah. I would catch it quite a lot.
Probably. That's fair enough. But yeah, so there's the bit with when she meets the Beatles, Gilbert Gottfried doing the Beatles.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, let's hear your impression again.
That was not a good one, but
he's just got the angry Morty sounded.
Oh no, he's just got a very
yeah, I know.
Oh god.
Yeah, because when you hear him on the roast of someone, he's like Jane Lynch.
You know he doesn't talk like that at all.
No,
his actual voice is just like, hey.
Is it the answering machine thing that you heard? He's like, hi there, this is Gilbert Gottfried.
You're like, no way, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's that. And there's one scene where like he's voicing the Beetle, who's another villain, and well, I won't say what happens, but it's like it's really surprisingly emotional.
Yeah.
It's another scene that's not in your face about how emotional it is, because it seems like it's played to like an upbeat track, so you're like ha 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 when you're a kid, but when you're an adult, it's like wow, this is a sad scene. This has surprising real world implications for something that's this far fetched all the way through.
Yeah, fair.
So there's that. It's "You Beautiful Baby" is I think what the song's called. Like, "You Beautiful Baby."
It actually really reminds me of Les Miserables.
Oh yeah.
The innkeeper,
the master
and the
of the
wife.
house.
Yeah. It reminds me of that sort of chemistry, isn't it?
That's a good comparison.
A bit, yeah.
That's solid. That's solid.
Solid.
I'll give that a 8 out of 10 for comparisons. It's better than ham by double the amount.
Double bacon. But no sausage. Yeah. So I mean, what do you think its reviews are? Is it people? So many people give 5 stars. So many people give it like 2 stars. That it has like a 3-star rating.
It was like I want to say it was in the 30s on Rotten Tomatoes.
No
37%. Yeah. And like Roger Ebert says, like, oh, I can't imagine anyone below 12 being stimulated by this. I actually thought it was really exciting. I don't think there was a dull moment in it.
It's a bit of a weird thing to say as well.
I know.
Yeah.
Because I can see that.
It's a kids' film.
Yeah, but
like, that's the mean.
I think the adults do have to. I'm firmly a believer of.
It's not just for it's not because it was just for kids. It would be random colors, like.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's
you know what I mean. Like you can't. Oh, where's the gritty dialogue?
Yeah, exactly. Dialogue. I think that's what a lot of people just view it as loads of random colors. But I actually think it was pretty surprisingly well plotted for what is basically a road movie.
I would put it on my list if I thought of it. Because I wouldn't have thought of it as a low film.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know it was panned, but then I looked it up for like reasons other than that. Just happened to find out it was panned. I was like, oh, I'll put that on my list.
I have one of those as well of a film that I assumed was everyone's film of the year, liked it, and then I was like, oh right.
I'm interested. I'm interested.
But right, you're number 3 then. Are you happy? What would you give Thumbelina?
What would I give Thumbelina?
Since we're trying to rate as we go.
So it's out of 10, is it?
We'll go out of 10.
Go out of 10. I'd give it 7.5.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourite 2D animated films, I'd say.
Yeah.
You can even include like Disney films in that. Like I prefer it over some praise. Like
I'd rather I don't think it or Anastasia has the same sheen personally as a Disney film. I don't think they're as cinema polished films earlier. Like Disney are very good at making like not questionable films at all.
Yeah.
No one watches rarely do people watch something like Snow White and go, it's a bit weird. Like it's very well they just get their plotting right, the characters, the songs and stuff. Whereas I think Anastasia and Thumbelina kind of missed the mark a little bit more.
Oh, I don't know if they. I'm gonna say
Anastasia an awful lot though. Do you?
I just think it's okay.
Do you?
To be fair,
I thought you were really touched.
I think it's good. I didn't watch it until I was like the age I am now.
Oh,
I watched it like a month ago for the first time.
Because I know some people do think Anastasia is one of the best.
Like a masterpiece, yeah. They all think it's Disney as well.
That Thumbelina is hated then.
It's hated, yeah. I know. I don't get that because I think Thumbelina really hits the mark for plots
rather than
because like everything's brought back in a really non-contrived way. And to be honest, they making a kids film, they could have got away with making it really contrived, and they didn't. The voice performances are really good. It's Jodie Benson who does Ariel.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I didn't realise that was
crossover. That's a good bit of trivia there. There's I can't remember the woman's name who does the frog, but she's apparently quite famous.
I was gonna say I'd assume so.
Back in the 70s, I think she was like a gay icon.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. But she's like. That's another amazing role that doesn't become too invasive. That's what I like. All the parts don't become too invasive. It's a really good plot. Nobody's there for no reason again, which I love. You'll see me like if you listen to these back to back. There's so many things I say. This film's good because no character.
Yeah, you're kind of like not against, but I feel like like Kevin Smith films where like the plot doesn't really go anywhere.
I love Kevin Smith.
Oh, really? Fair.
but they're all there for no reason in that.
Yeah,
so
that's different. That's meta.
It's been established from the start.
Yeah. Okay. Whereas like I'm trying to think of a better example. Some of the some of the stuff Frozen's a bit like that, I think.
Yeah.
But so there you go.
Thumbelina, the Don Bluth version, bit of a cracker. Next one now. Another one I didn't realise this was panned, so it almost wasn't on the list. Hancock, the Will Smith superhero.
Oh my god, really?
It's panned, yeah.
It's a bit to be fair, it's a bit weird.
It's a bit weird, but I think it's one of the most refreshing takes on the superhero genre in the world.
And it's nice seeing Will Smith doing anything that isn't him being like, I'm a 35-year-old single dad.
And I'm nice.
Yeah,
because he's not in this.
He's just so no one liked the Fresh Prince because he was nice. Do you know
No,
what I mean?
no,
Will
no,
Smith
no,
needs to be a
exactly.
dick more. Like,
He
it's
does, he
except
does.
in Suicide Squad.
Yeah, well, he's a nice guy in Suicide
Oh,
Squad.
I suppose, yeah. I was going to say,
He's a nice guy who holds a gun occasionally
yeah,
and
exactly,
pretends he's
yeah.
a bad guy. But yeah, in this, he's like, he's like, his homelessness has got real world effects. He is like curmudgeonly and he only cares about himself.
But do I explain the plot?
So this is basically.
This isn't that. I wouldn't say many people have seen this film.
No, I think it is unseen. So basically, this is a film where Will Smith is a vagrant superhero. And what else do I even say about this? Because the genre shifts a few times.
So he's like really OP. He's like he's Superman
OP.
style.
But his heart's not quite in the right place.
But he's like really depressed and doesn't give a shit. And he does like you see these like hilarious clips like the what do you call it, like freaking he literally shoves a guy's head up someone else's ass.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's very and you see stuff like he's able to like throw a car like literally hundreds and hundreds of meters.
Yeah.
You know. But they try to rebrand him as because he does a few nice things. But it's kind of they actually do it. I think it's based on with Superman like we can't control him.
Yeah.
But it's more like he can't be asked, and then they'll be like, "Can you help with this robbery?" And he ends up doing more damage. That there's that one of the first scenes.
That's
he like
the whale throw. He throws the whale into the sea.
Yeah, and he stops two robbers who stole like say £1 million from the bank, but he cost the city like 10 million.
Yeah.
In damages. So it's
and
like
see, I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's actually bringing up like the things that are hand waved.
Like the Incredibles. Yeah. Actually, yeah, similar to that.
There's like because they always hand wave collateral damage, even in films that have come out since then. They always like
cough the MCU.
Yep, and Man of Steel until it was rectified by BVS, but they still do. I can still probably think of loads where there are collateral damage that gets hand waved. In this, it's the entire plot.
Yeah,
and he gets basically taken in by a family who like try and make him a better person.
The guy's a big actor from
Jason Bateman.
Jason Bateman. Yeah,
it's him. So yeah, that's basically the plot of Hancock right there. And I liked how the genre shifts. It starts off as a superhero comedy, then it becomes like a romantic drama.
Yeah.
Then it's back to it's like a conventional superhero film. The last third, but it feels so natural the transition. And a lot of people don't think it does, but I think it makes perfect sense that would happen.
Yeah, it's a little. I get what you mean. It's a bit like I didn't focus on one thing, but it was fun.
I thought I liked the fact it didn't focus on one thing though, because it felt like I said they seamlessly transitioned between like three radically different genres. They all felt within place. And what else could I even? And I liked the fantasy elements weren't too invasive. Like the rest of the world, apart from him and one other person. And I won't spoil who the other person is because a lot of people haven't seen this film. But the fantasy elements don't become too invasive. They're near the end. They're explained well enough.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of probably I can't think of any, but probably a lot of other films.
Doesn't bother taking itself too seriously, which I like.
It does not take itself too seriously.
It doesn't go like let's explain how he became a hero. It's just like here's a guy really strong, and that's that.
That.
People know who he is. Oh, that's like a great scene at the start where like he's like lying on a bench like drunkenly, like been drinking all afternoon kind of thing, and then a kid's like, "Aren't you Hancock?" And he's just like, "What?" Like,
yeah. See, that's a perfect example of like
he's not a hero.
Yeah, he's not a hero. Like a lot of people I think that's. I don't want to say this, but I'm gonna say this. That's a good example of what real life superheroes would be like. It's like, why do I have to do these things? Just
I'm
because
immortal,
I've got the I don't care. Yeah,
it's a bit comic.
It is incredibly, but like I like that. I thought it was a really refreshing take on the superhero genre.
Because every superhero film is the same.
Nowadays, and the whole thing about like in a lot of other films, maybe MCU ones, they just like, let's make this innovative by making the good guy say that people are ugly, and so he's a bit of
exactly.
But in this one, that's integral to his character. That's integral to the plot. It gets better, but it's not like an immediate.
It doesn't sound original when you say like the superheroes moving ass, because that's what half the MCU
That's what all of them are, yeah. But like in this one,
it's the other way. It's more like that's the point of them.
That's the plot. That's the plot essentially. And
I think that was the tagline of the film. It's like just because you are super doesn't mean you're a hero.
Is that what they said? Well,
I think
that's a good summary of the.
What would you give it? What's the review of it then?
What's the review of it?
I wouldn't say it's a perfect film. It's not a great film, but it's a nice.
I think it's really good though.
Yeah, fair.
But I'd give it the same as Thumbelina. I think I'd give it a 7.5.
I think that's fair.
If we were talking about just superhero films, I'd give it a bit higher up.
But we've talked about because of movie fatigue and because superhero films.
So few things that are in this film have been redone, which surprises me. And I like another good example of like the genre shift. the villain gradually becomes more hammy as time goes on.
Yeah.
But it's given in story explanations that are enough to make sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, Hancock. That's the other pick. We're going straight on to
your fourth.
My fourth, yeah. Home on the Range. The Disney film.
I was actually thinking of putting something like this in, yeah.
Oh,
This is like the worst Disney film, isn't it?
They say that.
That or Song of the South, or whatever, is the really racy one that's actually been removed.
Oh yeah. But like
that doesn't really count.
That's forever ago as well, yeah.
Where did Home on the Range come? Home on the Range and Chicken Little.
Home on the Range, yeah. That's Chicken Little is Little is like credited with like ruining the Disney animation for a bit.
I almost put that on my list.
I don't mind it. I saw it in the cinema. I haven't seen it since, but I liked it. I liked it when I saw it.
Again, not a great film, but it's not as bad as it's gonna. When people are like, it's gonna ruin Disney, it's like, are you mental?
No, come on. No. They've had flops before this point.
They've had much worse flops. They've had very racy flops. That way.
They probably have. They really probably have. But yeah, Home on the Range. I think Home on the Range came out in about 2004. So for anyone who doesn't know the plot, essentially, there's a farm that's in threat of shutting down, and they need money. So the three cows who live on the farm, I know. You can see why it's on a list of bad films now. But the three cows need the money to keep the farm alive, so they become bounty hunters and try and hunt down a famous cattle rancher. That is what happens, isn't it? Bizarrely enough. And I tell you what, it's a lot better handled than it should be. Because, I think a lot of people really alienated by the fact there's cow bounty hunters, but when you watch the film, it feels surprisingly natural, given that is the plot.
There's been weirder stories.
There's been, yeah. I mean, if they were just humans, you'd never say, that's stupid. And I don't think it's that derivative, because I think the Western in general, it was like, it'd been gone for a while before this film came out. There weren't many groundbreaking Western films around. There's not many Disney Westerns around, so it was a fresh take for Disney. The animation is just fine. I mean, it looks fairly good. It's very fine.
Alright.
It's not stunning or anything, but it doesn't need to be.
I would compare it. It's comparable to the straight to DVD films or the sequels.
Yeah, but I think it's better plot than a lot of them. And I think the horse is a great character who idolizes somebody who he thinks is a bounty hunter, and he has a fantasy sequence at the beginning where he's imagining fighting all these bad guys, and he's like, guess I got the drop on you guys. And later on in the film he actually gets to say that for the action. I thought that was such a satisfying callback moment. I was like, oh, that is great. That's not the only reason I thought the film was good, obviously, because I wouldn't sit through 70 minutes and go, it was great because of that minute.
Yeah, it's another one that isn't that bad.
I think I'd go as far as saying good.
Really?
It's good, yeah.
I wouldn't say it's not the second you start comparing it to the real good Disney films.
Oh yeah. It wouldn't be on my list. It wasn't on my top 5 Disneys. We all saw that.
Or even near it, I would say. But it is, again, Disney don't do that they don't release a classic every year. They release some crap, but that's okay.
That's fine, but this one I wouldn't even consider this crap. I think the voice acting's good. I thought it was funny. I thought it was well written. Thought the story was good. There's a good twist in that, actually.
Yeah, actually, weirdly,
there is a pretty solid plot twist, which I'm not going to say because people might watch this.
Actually, I realized that recently.
Not really. My brother actually said that Clayton was one of the first surprise villains in Tarzan, and I was thinking, no, that can't be because Disney had been around for years, and that was in the 90s. But then when you think about it, not that many.
Most of it is very formulaic. In terms of this is evil, this is evil.
Yeah.
There's plot changes.
Where
things you think it's about this, then it goes this way.
Yeah.
But rarely do they have this person is this, or are they? They don't really have that, or they don't have it turns out that it was them all along. That doesn't really happen.
No. And this is another film, Home on the Range, where I think every character is there for a reason again. Yeah, the characterization is consistent. They don't suddenly start changing personality because the plot demands it. They stick to what they're known for when you first see them. Which is it should be obvious, but there are so many films that don't do that.
Yeah.
That when a film does, you think it's good.
Fair.
And the villain song. Oh, the villain song. Have you heard the villain? It's he's talking about yodeling to hypnotize cows. Oh, and it's sure can yodel, and there's a segment of it where he's just singing classical music. He's yodeling it Ode to Joy. That's a song, right?
Yeah.
And it's the scene of it, that's actually, I say the animation is very fine, but in that scene, the animation is actually really good.
That's what they spend all their budget on that
there's
one.
yeah, they must have done. Like, there's a really well justified art shift, and it's something to behold. That's what I'll call it. Something.
For a film, I'd agree with the. I was nearly on my list as well in terms of like, it's a film that again people just hate for the sake of hating.
Yeah, I really don't understand.
I don't think that many mothers bought their kids because this isn't one of those films that like, was praised as Oscar bait.
No,
it wasn't like a Lion King. It was like another. That's what I meant about like the Disney sequels. No one's bought Little Mermaid 2 and be like, this is nowhere near as good as the original.
No.
It's just another film for them to put out. That's what they do.
This is exactly what this is.
They have a huge empire. Like this is all they do.
And I don't see why this.
I don't think mothers are buying their kids it and going, oh, like awful. The voice acting.
No.
Like it's just
the voice acting. Actually, I was going to praise that as being quite good. Cuba Gooding Jr. is the host, and he's actually really good in it. I can't remember who does the villain, but he's also good. I think it's Randy Quaid. I want to say he does him.
Who's Randy Quaid?
He's one of these names I know, but I can't name anything he's in. Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say for a film that's
it might not be. It might be Dennis Quaid. It's one of the Quaids. Yeah. One of the Quaids is the villain we think.
Probably isn't.
Probably isn't. This is why we need QILs, like we were just saying. Anyone, by the way, who hates their own voice and likes sitting silently and looking up things on their phone, please email us in because we need someone to do it.
Because we're awful.
Because we are awful at this job. We're sorry.
But yeah, fair. So I mean, again, this film probably has 0 in a lot of places.
I think it's like
really
it's something shocking on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
I'd give it again. I'm gonna give it like about 7.5. So I'm gonna go for 7.5.
I wouldn't go 7. I'd go like 5.
You'd go like 5.
I'd go like it's alright.
I tell you what, I'll give it just a 7 and not a 7.5. I'd put it down by 0.5, so that's 7 out of 10. I give it.
But yeah, it's fine.
7 out of 10 for Disney for sure. I might even go a bit further. I might give it a 7.5 with just judging within the Disney sphere of things.
Right, okay, yeah. So
Home on the Range there, Disney film, folks. You can check it out if you want to be a bit surprised or a bit disappointed, maybe.
If you want to watch something that just isn't quite as good as all the other things you watch.
Yeah, but it's still got its strengths, yeah.
Right, you're number 5.
I Love You, Beth Cooper. Have you seen this film?
I don't think I have, no.
This is one of the... so basically, I'll explain the plot of this one then. So it's about the events, basically the aftermath of a speech made by a valedictorian in school.
Okay.
One of the main things he points out, obviously, is his love for Beth Cooper, who's the popular girl of the school. And it's like, again, there's such good world building in it. For like a rom-com that just was only ever meant to be a rom-com, there's some pretty solid world building. The characters, they're all really good subversions of stock characters. Like, for example, the main guy, you think, oh god, he's gonna have... If you saw a picture of it, you think, oh, this guy is obviously like a nice guy fever type character.
Okay.
He's actually not that much of a nice guy. When you break down his actions, he's kind of a knob.
In the film?
Yeah.
Like, is he meant to be... Are you meant to be thinking...
You're meant to be thinking, yeah, because when...
to think he's a nice guy?
You're meant to think he's somewhere in between. I think you're meant to think he's not that nice, but he's gonna get better.
Is he a bit like... Have you ever seen Pretty in Pink? No.
Ducky is.
Yeah, I was going to say, the Ducky's like a nice guy, and then you're like, or he's a bit of a dick.
I think he's... that's probably not a bad comparison. I wouldn't be surprised if...
Fair.
Because I know that the book that it's based on, and the guy who wrote the screenplay for it, it's the same author. Yeah. He was a former Simpsons writer, so
really?
He's obviously self-aware about media tropes, so he might have done the Ducky thing on purpose.
Yeah, fair.
But I think it's like, you think he's not that nice to begin with, but you think he hasn't got much going for himself. He's going to get better, and he's clearly not as bad as the villain, let's say.
Yeah.
Because he still does a lot of things that are quite objectionable, especially in his valedictorian speech. But it's one of these films, as soon as I watched it, I thought, like, this is going to be hilarious. Because it's got, like, this really heart-wrenching song about forget, and it's being sung by, like, one of the students. And then the teacher goes, oh, thanks for that, Angelica. And the girl goes, actually, it's Angelica. And she's meant to be, like, a spoof of, like, a hippie-ish character who's actually quite irritable. She's only in that scene where it's like, it sets the tone for what you're going to expect. This subversion of stock character things that I said about before. And, like, the great thing about this as well is everything that happens has a solid payoff. And there's nothing that's in there for no reason. There's some strong callback scenes that feed the plot. And the plot seems simple, they just gradually get to find out.
It's another teen rom film.
Yeah, they just gradually find out that there are depths to each other. Like, the main character and Beth Cooper. But like, she's actually well written as a character as well. She's the classic I said about As Told by Ginger. She's an alpha bitch, but there's more to it. It's another one of them.
But it's very Brady Bunch Breakfast Club stuff, is it? That sort of...
Slightly, but I think I'd actually say, and I don't like saying this on recording, but I'm going to. I've started talking, so it's coming out. I think I prefer this to Breakfast Club. If someone said you got to watch one of these films,
I don't really care about them, to be honest.
The Breakfast Club, overrated. It's alright.
So overrated.
It's just fine.
Yeah.
Breakfast Club. I'd say this is further than fine.
Because it's basically one person behind the Breakfast Club and Pretty
John
Big
Hughes,
and stuff. John Hughes, but Pretty Big's better. I stand by.
I haven't watched it all, but I know about Ducky.
I know about Ducky. That's all you need.
Yeah, but yeah. So this is like this is it's funny as well. It should be obvious, but it actually is funny. That and again, every character is there for a reason. There's good payoffs, like I said. It's an adventure film at its core, and not many rom-coms are really adventure films in the literal sense.
When
but this one kind of is. In the 2000s.
Yeah,
I want to say I'd give it like 2008, but I will double check that.
What's the review of this?
What's the review? Well, my personal.
As in the Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't know what they say, but I remember reading a review somewhere. This was a long time ago. This was before I'd seen the film, so I was expecting like something bad. But I was like, let's just have my own opinion. And I was surprised. But one thing they said was that like most of the dialogue is the same as the book, but it really doesn't translate well to the film. Medium.
Right, it's like a direct making of the book, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, but if that's like the version of not working, the book must be hysterical. Because for me, that works. Like really the comedy works fine, yeah. And what else could I even say about this film? Yeah, there's some really solemn scenes that are not forced like they would be elsewhere, and it's not just like the whole "I'm in love" thing. That's not all there is to it. It's like people are not the same as what they seem on first glance, and it's just as much about friendship as it is about falling in love with And it's not one of these I've got to get laid films.
No,
we're all sick of seeing them. There's a lot more. I want to say there's a lot more heart to it, and I think I'm gonna just say that because I can't think of a better way of phrasing it. So that's my other pick. I Love You, Beth Cooper.
What's your review of it?
So out of 10 again?
Yeah.
Oh, flip me. Well, it's not on one of my favourite films of all time, so maybe I should give it. I'm gonna give most of these are gonna be in the 7 camp, to be honest.
The 7 camp.
Yeah, so it's another one in the 7 camp because it's not perfect. There are, but I really can't see where most of the criticism comes from, even with that in mind. So yeah, I Love You, Beth Cooper. That's my next pick.
Fair.
Let's have a look what else I've got here.
Number 6, is it?
My number 6. The musical film called 9. So another one with the Ragdolls, the Daniel Day-Lewis one.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen this film?
Not in a long time, but yeah.
I actually think it is fantastic.
Like proper fantastic.
Proper fantastic. Like one of the best musicals ever.
And you're not even a big Daniel Day-Lewis fan or anything.
He's just there. Like all actors, he is just there. But this film's good.
Fair.
It's visually good. You really get into the head of the main character. The songs are amazing. I keep saying this. I know I keep saying it, but a big reason I picked these films is what have I kept saying about the other films?
Because it's hated.
No, not just that. Every character again.
Has a flipping reason.
Has a reason because there are so many films where you can see it. You can pinpoint a few who don't. This one is like all the women in his life, and they're all there. They've got a good purpose. Even the ones that seem like, they're a bit sidelines. They're still there for a reason. They're still well developed enough. Because there's like a character who Fergie plays. I'm pretty sure is meant to be a prostitute, and they're not forceful about her at all. She's not walking around being all kinky in that. It's just like it's symbolically portrayed as like a fraction of his past, and it's like artistically good. You really you sympathize for this guy who you really shouldn't, and that's like anything that can do that is a strength, I think, in a film. And you see like about his depression, and there's this really good scene where he's talking to the Pope. Oh, right, should explain the actual.
Yeah, I was gonna say
the actual plot. So basically, the plot is it's about a director going through a creative slump in his personal and work life, and it's mainly about the women in his life and how they all affect him. Who he's been with. His mother is also a character. It's basically a testament to the women in his life and how they've shaped him. And he's thinking of it during a real crisis in his life. And there's one scene where he's talking to the Pope. And the Pope is like, I like you with films. That we don't need to see that much sex. We can use our imagination. A flash of something sexual comes up across the screen as an example of using one's imagination. And that ties in well to what I said about Fergie pretty sure is a prostitute. They're not in your face about it.
Yeah.
And when they need to be in your face about storylines, they are. But it's like justified stylistically because of the elaborate musical numbers. And
it's a bizarre film.
It is a bizarre film.
With me, yeah.
You've seen it though, right?
Yeah.
It's great. I don't know how much more I can say because I can't really ruin a lot. But it's close to being a piece of art.
Oh, like
and
you really
not,
love this film, bro, do you?
Well, I haven't seen it for a while. Like, if I was naming, like, it probably wouldn't even be on my top 20 films, but it's still good. I still watch it. I'll be thoroughly entertained. There are a lot of problems. Like, some of it is a bit ham-fisted, and some of it is a bit, like I said,
some of the execution or something.
Some of the exposition, for example, like, when you need to know about a plot point. Maybe that's sometimes a bit awkward. But from memory, I can't see many examples of that.
Aye.
But I wouldn't. It seems like the sort of film that would have that in it. Basically.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But still, really good film. 9, the musical version, not the Ragdoll one, because everyone loves that, the Ragdoll one, and that's because it is a good film.
What do you think of the Ragdoll, for the record?
Oh, solid.
Yeah, do you like it as much, or do you prefer this one? Do you?
Well, they're not related at all, but I think I probably do prefer this one because I expected so much more from the Ragdoll film, even though I still liked it. Because I saw like the animation, I was like, "Oh, this is so within my wheelhouse," and this one seemed slightly more for the time. Yeah, it's a really solid film.
Any other thoughts on it, or is that?
I think that's pretty much all I've got on 9 the musical.
Fair. So, let me go to your number 7.
Number 7 is Pirates of the Caribbean 4.
Is that the? Oh, that's the.
On Stranger Tides.
Yes.
With Penelope Cruz.
Oh, is there 5 now?
There is 5. Yeah.
No, it's not still.
Are they doing one today?
No, like what's the last? I'm trying to.
Oh, Salazar's Revenge.
Salazar's Revenge.
Caesar Salazar's Revenge.
Yeah.
So this film, basically, I'll just give a quick recap of the plot. It's essentially, it's a bit of a different direction to the previous films. It's now Jack Sparrow is essentially alone in this film. He's got a new crew. He's like, part of another ship. He's teaming up with Blackbeard's daughter.
Yeah.
And he's trying to locate the Fountain of Youth, and most of the film is revolving around the search for the Fountain of Youth. They play with fantasy tropes that they didn't play with in the last film, but are still really welcome in that universe. I think it's funny. It's really well paced. Really well paced, because I think this knocks spots off at World's End, because for most of that film I was bored. The third one, this is. And I love the Pirates of the Caribbean series. It's my favourite film series.
Yeah, because I think they were very revolutionary, and then they kind of became the same as kind of the superhero ones. They got really boring or something.
Yeah, I think this one reverses the fatigue completely.
Because I remember just thinking I disliked it. Not thinking this, but I was like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
and
a lot of people
rewatched some of the first one. It's really, really good.
Oh, stunning film. But this is good as well. It's really it really benefits from not going over the same cast members
if anything, yeah.
Yeah, Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley are not in it. The new characters they got are developed enough for the amount of time they're there. There's not really any useless plot threads, and there's plenty of that.
They're even referenced in the last one as well.
They're even referenced in the last one, and
Penelope Cruz is even in the 5th one, isn't she? Briefly.
Is she?
I think she is, isn't she?
Yeah, she's in this one all the way through.
Penelope Cruz,
yeah. And she was a good character. A lot of people can't believe that her and Jack Sparrow had a past, and that's like a big criticism of it. I don't see why not. I don't see how that's a thing. But yeah, and Ian McShane is the main villain.
I like how they watched this series about gods of the sea
and that's the bit they couldn't get invested in.
And then they were like, wait a minute, come on.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one thing I want to say is a good genre balance. And some people think Pirates in general over eggs the supernatural. I don't think it does at all. But this one,
it's got a good world build.
It's great world. Even within this one film, there's plenty of world building.
Yeah. They do that sort of every film. No, it's like a book. Every film.
It is.
It's this is going to be the plot for the rest.
Yeah,
of the thing.
This is a perfect example of that. It's in isolation, it's still a good plot, and it can work separately from the other films because there's so many cast changes, new characters this time. Like I said, not really any useless plot threads. All the performances are solid. Ian McShane is Blackbeard, and he's in the Kung Fu Panda as well, and he's the bad guy.
Yeah, he is.
Which I didn't realise until the other day.
He's a great actor.
He is quite good, and he's good in this. He feels natural. He's not even though he hasn't got like a massive motive other than wanting to find the fountain, he doesn't come off as a cloak and dagger. I'm evil.
Exactly.
And because we always say we hate that. We hate the generic villain character.
I'd rather watch a film of like a person who's just a bit mad, or like getting incorrect change at the counter or something. That's what I want. I want just people with like really mundane, rather than watching people who are just evil for the sake of evil. Like, give me anything.
Oh, same.
Or the opposite, they're good because they're good.
Exactly, they're good because they're good. Yeah, not for money or thrills.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a good example. Like he's not over the top. He fits in well with the world. They could have gone so far because it's basically a comedy. They could have gone so far the other way and made him really stupid, and they didn't. And that's a smart choice. The new characters are funny, like Stephen Graham. Do you know Stephen Graham, the actor?
Stephen Graham?
Have you seen Boardwalk Empire?
Oh, okay,
he's
okay.
Al Capone.
Right, okay, yeah.
He's a scout, but his character in this is really funny. There are others who are really good as well.
What's it written? Well, I would say it's probably, what, 40%, I would imagine?
I think it's lower.
Really?
I think it's like 32 or something.
Really?
Like that, yeah.
Okay.
And I thought, like, the escaping scenes are really good. The action in this is really good. And, like, it feels like you're watching an adventure film again. And you're like, thank God, this is what I needed after that boring 5-hour at World's End. With about 2 good scenes for the entire
totally
thing.
Forgets what it's doing the entire
totally forgets
time,
what it's doing the entire time. They spend 20 minutes on things they don't need to. Like
Johnny Depp's white room acting thing, that was so odd.
Oh, in the limbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it goes on for years in the third film, yeah. But this is like I think the pacing is the major strength, to be honest.
Fair.
There's not really a dull moment. There's moments of levity, there's character building. There's not a massive amount of character building. But in the fourth film, you could argue there doesn't need to be massive character building anymore.
No.
It's just, you've got to, like, everything's established by now. And the ones that aren't are established within this film in basically no time at all.
No. So.
And, like, Barbossa's shift from being slightly more of a good guy this time was good as well. I was well written into it.
He's also a great actor.
He's a Jeffrey Rush.
Rush, yeah.
He is actually, yeah. He was great in this. I think this is my favourite. Apart from the first film where he was great because that was the first time you were seeing him.
Yeah.
But apart from like the first film where you saw him for the first time, so obviously you're going to be like, oh my god, this is the best role I've seen him in of the Pirates films.
Right.
Like the best situation.
Also, is Mick Jagger in this film? Am I making that
up? Is
Mick
Jagger in this film?
I think, am I right in saying it's Mick Jagger plays his uncle? And then in the fifth one, no, is it that he...
Keith Richards is his father in At World's End.
Is it Keith Richards?
Yeah,
Mick Jagger.
It's in the third film.
And then they replaced him with Paul McCartney. Then in the new
his uncle is Paul McCartney. Yeah,
because they couldn't get Keith Richards again, I believe.
It's a different character though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But
probably right.
But yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. There, bit of a banger of a film. Same director actually as 9.
Oh, is it?
Rob Marshall. Fair. Yeah, he does Chicago as well, which is also like he's a pretty good director to be fair. And sung.
There you go. So what would you rate this? Would you?
Ooh.
7 camp.
Oh, 7.8.
Ooh.
7.8.
That's specifics. Yeah. Right, so it's your 8th film?
8th film. Let me just make sure I've got one. Yes, right. Phantom of the Opera with Jared Butler and...
I really dislike Phantom of the Opera generally.
It was just all of them. So it's not this film.
This is actually it'd be on the opposite list of this. I really hate that musical. Like with an absolute.
A lot of people hate this film.
I hate it like Cats hatred. Like most people hate
God,
Cats.
It's not on the same league as Cats.
I really do. Like I really.
But like, stand. Is it like you think it's that bad personally, or you think critically speaking, it's they're on the same level?
No, it's more just like
you can tell it's technically better than Cats, but you still don't enjoy
it. I know, it's definitely better than Cats.
That's fine.
I just meant as in, I actually thought everyone hated it like Cats.
Yeah.
I just remember hearing the then like and I was like, oh Jesus Christ. And then people were like, yeah, it's one of the best musicals ever made. I was like, oh right, like
cheapers.
Yeah, but this will be interesting.
This will be.
I haven't seen the film, but
I haven't seen the film
because I dislike.
Okay, so
Jared Butler though.
Jared Butler.
He's in the most. He's odd. He's in like a very big string of like very very not well received. And
unrelated as well. They're all so different.
What's the new one he's done?
Geostorm.
And it's like they threw all this money at we can control the weather, but can the weather control itself and all this. And
how you the chance of meatballs? I've seen that.
He's thrown hundreds of millions at this film,
and
they're blaming him. They're like, screw it, it's not his fault. He's
just in the film.
Yeah, they're like, it's Jared Butler.
It's like it looks like Day After Tomorrow with Jared Butler. That was the original title. It was going to be called Day After Tomorrow with Jericho.
Sweet, aye.
But like,
Anyway,
Phantom of the Opera.
I'm assuming he's the Phantom.
He is the Phantom.
What a brilliant cast choice.
It's surprisingly good.
I was joking.
It works. It works.
Okay.
Like, because I thought, like, really him as the
I
Phantom.
don't know who'd pick instead. To be fair,
Exactly.
I couldn't tell you a good.
It was going to be Hugh Jackman originally.
Jesus, right? Yeah. Would he sing like Les Mis though?
Everything's
by Brad.
Like, why does everyone say that he's worse than Russell Crowe?
I like Russell Crowe.
Fine.
Screw what people said.
I have no problem with Russell Crowe.
Could have put that on my list, my film, just Russell Crowe in Les Mis.
Oh, good. That's a good one. Good performances, like the performances you think are good, but everyone else thinks are bad. But yeah, Phantom of the Opera. So, I mean, is there any need to? Yeah, I'll recap the plot anyway. So it's about a creative genius, a disfigured creative genius who becomes infatuated with a young soprano, and his sanity gradually suffers as a result, and he's been ostracized all his life. And I think that's basically the plot.
A lot of organs.
And a lot of
high notes, basically.
And he gets involved in a battle with her actual love interest.
Oh god.
Who, to be fair, a nicer person, I guess.
Yeah, it's another one of those films where you're like, actually, I don't see your perspective.
But yeah, exactly. But I think it should be one of those films.
Yeah.
But they like write the Phantom well enough that you don't feel like that.
Is it much different to the musical, or is it? I assume it's pretty word for word.
It's pretty similar. There's a really good scene where you see the Phantom's backstory, and it's not the classic. Oh, it's fine because his parents dead. There's a lot more to it, and it's done in that particular scene where they're showing his backstory. It's done in a really good, stylistic, fast-paced way. And it doesn't slow down the film
at all. Flashbacks, is it? Or
it is flashbacks, yeah, but not told from his perspective.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is cool, yeah. And it's fast paced. It doesn't slow down the film, and they are necessary.
Fair.
And like stylistically in general, this film is good. It's got the right amount of like sort of pastiche, like Moulin Rouge is obviously.
Yeah.
A good balance of that and serious aesthetics, depending on what scene you're watching, which is cool. Because some scenes, you're not meant to take seriously. And they clearly juxtapose with the characters you are physically, which is good, which is obvious but good. It's like a good way of differentiating characters. Is it a wee bit
throwing it down your face? Is it a bit like look at the symbolism? Is it?
Yeah, sometimes.
To be fair, I prefer that to where half the films now don't even have symbolism.
Yeah, none at all. No.
Except Superman is a bit like Jesus. That's pretty much the only one. But
I was about to name that actually, the Superman one.
Oh really? Fair.
As an example of forced symbolism. But this film's good. The music, obviously. I mean, you got to mention it in this film.
Yeah, okay. Obviously not to my taste, but the singing generally. Yeah.
Jared Butler can sing.
Really?
He's got some chops on him, I tell you what.
I wouldn't have looked at him and thought, that man.
And there's a bit like at the end where like it really he does a good job in making you feel for this film.
Have you seen Phantom in any other format?
In any other context? No. I just heard the songs. This is the first time I've seen the film story surrounding it.
Okay.
And it's good stylistically, like I said. The singing's good. The story is well paced. It goes along like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Like the bits you feel what you're meant to feel. Like this, you laugh when you're meant to. You feel like tension when you're meant to.
Aye.
Good tension in general. That's one thing I will sing his praises about. And there's a bit at the end where he's like, "It's over now, the music of the night," and smashing things up.
Right.
And you really care for this character who is the villain. And like I said, any film that can do that is a plus.
Fair.
Because you have to be a good film to make someone do that, I think. Maybe it doesn't make everyone else do it, but it did for me.
For you, I'm assuming the hatred for this is mainly based on it's not as good as the musical.
I actually don't know what it's based on.
That's all the lame is, really, isn't it?
Because this film got a lot better to me on second viewing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Don't know then.
And it might be that.
Is it really disliked, or is it?
I think it's quite disliked.
Fair. And you rate it quite well, then, do you? Or
I rate it. Well, it's going to be the same camp,
unfortunately,
the same 7 camp.
Fair.
But there's a really engaging framing device that they've added to this film that I don't think, as far as I know, it's not in the musical. So the start and end is it feels like you're watching a different film, but it gets explained really well.
Okay.
So yeah, the Joel Schumacher Phantom of the Opera. That was I think that was 8.
That was 8, yeah.
8. Very nice. So moving swiftly on, bit of a change of pace here. We've talked about this film.
Oh, here it comes.
Here we go.
I made a joke about this film earlier, and he turned to me and went, "Oh, expect to be talking about that later.
Yep. Well, we've actually talked about this in an episode, but I thought, because I know that it's not a great film, and I knew your opinion was technically more valid, so I was like, I'll give him the chance, and then if it ever comes up again, I'll say what I actually think. And it's my chance to defend this film, even though I'm in the minority. Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I just like it. But yeah, I thought. So firstly, I thought it was good to look at most of the time because I think the aesthetic suits what's going on. Fine.
Okay.
Oh shit! I don't want to say anymore.
I don't want to. I'm not gonna be. I'm not. It's a man beaten to death during podcast. I think
people would listen at least, so maybe we should try that.
I think it just boils down to so you'll turn around and say, "Oh, I like that this film's gritty." Well, I go, "Oh, it's too gritty." I think that's the whole everything.
Yeah.
Like, I'll say, "Oh, the acting's a bit boring and wooden." Where you go, it's meant to be, and I think that's the whole thing. Like, I think my feelings on it aren't going to be as clever as yours. Does that make sense? We probably have the same opinion, the same ideas on the film, but your opinion of it is good. My opinion of
I think exactly that, yeah. But, okay, the first scene, I know it involved someone you weren't really invested in the Wayne Towers. Okay, I basically should explain. Following the events of Man of Steel, which involved collateral damage, there is obviously a war on between Batman and Superman. I don't think I need to say more than that. Basically, that's just the title.
That is, yeah.
And so the beginning scene is obviously like
it's
showing
9/11 symbolism. Really,
which is I like the symbolism all the way through this film.
I liked it there, but I didn't do anything. That scene on its own is not bad, but then the guy who's on the phone through is literally never brought up again.
Yeah, the fact you don't know who that character is ruins it a bit. But I thought that was a good scene. It gave Batman a really strong motive to be annoyed at Superman because he sees a kid separated from her parents in like crisis.
Symbolism.
And it's like, oh, I've been here before, and then he sees Superman flying, and he's like, you bellend. This is you doing this. And I thought that was really good. It's a really refreshing perspective flip on that awful fight scene in Man of Steel, which we've already talked about.
Which is cinematic masterpiece.
Which is awful, yeah.
45 minutes, I'll never get back, whatever.
No, 45 years, I'll never get back. I mean, Superman's going to look the same after 45 years. I'm going to look like
Henry Cavill. Do you mean Henry Cavill or just Superman?
Well, the character, yeah.
Oh, right, I was going to say.
Or Henry Cavill.
Is Henry Cavill known for aging well? I don't know. So yeah. So you like the symbol. I get that. The symbolism.
So I like the symbolism. This was one thing you were in defense of, and I'm like extremely in defense of.
Again, anything I'm going to go, yeah, okay, is where you'd be like, no, that's good.
That's amazing.
That's good, yeah.
Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor.
I stand by. It was fine.
I thought he was surprisingly complex. He wasn't just a cackling character. A lot of the time, he seemed like a nerdy, slightly idiotic, but academically
he's a
smart.
Good actor. Well. He's been in a couple of missed films.
Well, this is technically one of them as well.
This is technically one of them. I mean, especially this actually because people hated him in this.
Yeah,
but people, to be fair, people hated him in this before the film came out. It was like Jesse Eisenberg is that what a terrible cast.
Yeah, I know. It's like wait until the films come out, guys. Yeah. They said that, but Ben Affleck too. Though.
It's the same as like it's like or Heath Ledger as well. Sure, it's
Heath Ledger. Yeah, and now they all praise him to the hilt. Yeah,
exactly. The classic argument is for 6 months people are like, oh no, not Heath Ledger as a like Joker. That'll be crap.
So yeah, I really liked his performance in this. I thought it was a really refreshing change from what we've seen in Lex Luthor before, the cold, calculating genius. It brings up more of his scientific skills that we haven't seen before, so he is technically smarter. He plays off these two heroes against each other, even though he seems like an idiot in public and he seems childish in public. And that's a good real world implication. Like a lot of famous people like these days involved in technology, they kind of are nerdy. And they don't walk around just being geniuses all the time. Like, I mean, even I know he's played Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg's a good example.
Mark Zuckerberg's a great example of
someone who doesn't walk around.
If you spoke to him, you wouldn't think he was on top.
No,
like, any of those interviews don't make you go kid billionaire like.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a good example of that. He's probably channeling a lot of. I've never seen Social Network, but I imagine is he channeling?
A little bit, but Social Network's a lot more like he's a lot more sort of like sort of sad teen. Who's tried his best. They like really pushed that in that film. He's a bit Michael Cera Judo-ish, I would describe.
My mother thinks they're the same person.
Oh really? Yeah, he is the American version, to be fair.
In Zombieland she went, oh, it's him from Juno. I was like, no, it does not.
They actually don't look alike.
They don't look anything similar, no. Just Adventureland, super bad.
Yeah.
Nerdy people. But yeah, basically, I was really in defense of him as Lex Luthor. I thought the scene where he confronts Superman on the roof, that was such a good amount of tension.
That was pretty cool, yeah.
That was good tension. That was good lighting. It looked good to watch. It was good to look at. It was just a solid scene. It was good performances from both ends. That's the one time Henry Cavill really acts in that film, is when he nearly the lasers nearly come out of his eyes. Yeah.
Man of Wood, like,
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, because a lot of the film, he just as Superman, you just stand there looking the part. But
I don't think he's a bad actor. I think it's probably direction. It's probably
exactly.
He's been told, like, you're Superman, you're not meant to like feel things, and he's just like, I'm gonna look pretty.
Well, yeah, and Wonder Woman, she was good in it, actually.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I didn't like the same bit you didn't like, the with the like.
You were like, well, how cool was the music? It was literally equivalent of, and then someone popping in, it was as bad as like Batfinks showing up and being like, my wings of steel.
Sure, I come to save the day.
Yeah, it was
that's
proper.
Mighty Mouse who said
Oh yeah. But it was the thing is that it was very much like, it's a woman. That dialogue there is horrendous.
Is she with you? I thought, yeah.
They
trying to do the awkward comedy
as well.
They pushed it, but they're trying to do awkward comedy, and I didn't like that bit. But I think a lot of the out of character behavior from Batman, for example, they're saying like he's like a killer in this film. I think that's because he's been corrupted by time. This is late into his career. Yeah. Robin's just died, they mention, and you see the Robin outfit. He's being corrupted, and he's like, I can't take any risks anymore. I can't let these people live. And if there's a slight chance this guy's going to be a threat, I have to assume it's definite.
Yeah.
And like that is playing up because he's like he is actually mental, Batman. Whatever version you take, he still walks around beating people up dressed as a bat. Like, that's not the picture of sanity.
No.
And they really they make a point of that in this film better than they do elsewhere.
Well, I think Chris Nolan was always trying to push that in The Dark Knight. That it's all about that, like, Batman is just the flip side of Joker. Or Joker is the crime, is what Batman is like.
Killing Joke does it. Killing Joke. The comic Killing Joke.
And
it's basically a testament to that.
Sort of tried to do it with Joker and it didn't work.
A bit. Oh, that guy. Right? No, we're not gonna go. We're not gonna do that again. We're not gonna go Jared Leto again. But yeah. Okay. I'm sure we will. I know.
That's why we actually do this podcast. We just really don't like Jared Leto. I can't remember who was it. I was talking to someone the other day and I mentioned Jared Leto and they were like, "Oh, that guy." And I was like, "Oh, get in."
Cassie.
It was a Cassie. Was it?
She doesn't like him either. Yeah.
But yeah. So is that you done on your? Well, so this film got. I think it's getting better reviews now. I think people are starting to like turn on it a bit more. But I think generally it was what, like 10% at one point, I think, in Rotten Tomatoes. It was low. It wasn't as bad as Suicide Squad. It was like 5, I think.
And I liked the. I know everyone says it's stupid, but I liked the Martha scene. I'd like Saws.
No, I can't.
Let me defend. It's like the fact he said a name and that's what distracted him. That's a bit stupid. But the principle of it is like he's realizing, this guy has people in jeopardy as well. Like Superman's not this unbeatable person. He's got loved ones who can get damaged. And like it just the fact that the name's the same was just what he needed to distract it slightly.
It's very much a game along this film. Like some of the ideas are good. Let's do some symbolism. Let's do some lighting things, and it all works on paper. Yeah. But like no one sat down and made this film. Like so clearly no one sat and watched this film before they put it out. Especially with like the Batman flashbacks. And the
they were
Flash
stupid.
Thing,
that doesn't need. They can cut those out.
There's loads of scenes where and to be fair, they did say that they did say that you need to watch the 3-hour version because the uncut.
Don't put him in there then. Don't put him in the non-3 hour.
So that's what I mean. Like it's not even a case of like, oh, this film wasn't even good because they missed the mark. This film like literally missed the point. Like they clearly like screwed up. Like clearly, like the editor was like, whoops. You know what I mean? Whoops. There's like there are scenes that are like not even their bad scenes. They're mistakes in this film, i.e. the flashbacks don't make any sense without any context.
No, that's stupid, and those.
And it only would have taken one person to watch that film and go, put a test on it.
Are we not thinking this a bit random? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so those bits can go.
So stuff like that about the film I just can't forget. Yeah, but I do get you. Exactly, there are things that like at least they were trying.
Yeah.
And it just didn't necessarily translate well.
Yeah, those bits, like the Flash thing, I'm not even going to try and defend that because it is stupid.
But like, the Jesse Eisenberg, like, if that hadn't worked out as a good thing, that's fine because at least they were trying to write a new Lex Luthor.
Yeah, and they really hit the mark.
Yeah, whereas totally missing the mark in terms of like the plot doesn't make sense.
No,
it's different. That's a mistake.
When the entire exactly, and like. Lois Lane, okay, not brilliantly written into it, but they gave her a less passive role than any other film involving her, apart from Man of Steel.
Yeah,
Like
'cause
she still had something to do, and I like that. Again, you know,
because you watch the cartoons and she's just like, oh, hey, and that's it. That's like she's no actual dialogue.
she's one we saw. She was a strong.
She's a strong character, but she's
Character,
very
yeah.
pulled back. She's
No,
very,
she's not action based, and in this
Yeah.
one she was a
And
bit.
I would defend Amy Adams. So she's a good actress.
I love you, Amy.
If
I
you're
love you, Jenny.
Wow. But yeah, before we go on with that for another hour and a half,
Right.
Jared Leto.
Rating.
Yeah, that's
Oh, don't make me do this. People are gonna hate me. This is not in the 7 camp. This is like in the 8 camp.
no, it's not. Oh man.
Especially like, well, maybe it's not in the 8 camp for films ever because it's not on my top 10 or even 20.
No.
But if you're talking about DC films, yeah.
Fair. Okay.
Or, yeah.
I'd rather watch the Adam West one twice than watch this.
I probably would, but that's because just the Adam West one is great rather than not liking this film.
I actually stamp by like if I made comic book films, I'd make them like that. I want like to make a comic book film that says bang, whack.
Oh, the Adam West Batman, eh?
Not necessarily that.
No, I
mean,
know,
like,
I know, yeah.
I want to go. You know, when people are like Marvel are half-assed doing a bit of like, oh, we're a bit self-aware,
yeah,
and a bit of comedy. Like
and
I would
completely
absolutely totally give up on trying to do any like
seriousness.
Yeah, totally just a cartoon essentially.
That's fair. I can see that working.
But yes, do you want to give me your number 10?
10 now.
Finish up.
Oh, this is the one I saved. This is not like that one. There wasn't the one I was saving for a big. Whew. This one's even more of a. Whew.
Right.
Oh my god, am I even gonna say this on recording? Phantom Menace.
You know what the sad part is? That was on my list as well.
Oh my god!
That film.
Thank God.
Thank
God.
It hits such bad areas, but at other times, it's quite good.
It's quite good. So let's talk about what's quite good. So, or the we thought the quite good.
In defense of, yeah.
In defense of. I know it's a bit slow, but I'm in defense of it being, because a lot of the film is political conversations.
Yeah.
And people are like, why are they in there? This is a fantasy. Well, newsflash. Game of Thrones is a fantasy. People praise the political things in that.
And George Lucas is a very, very, like, he's very, again, he misses the mark quite often throughout 6 films. Yeah. As in, he does things where, like, you're going, why is that? And weird cast choices and weird ideas. And he constantly, like, the whole midichlorians, and then he instantly was like, whoops, I lied.
Oh, the midichlorians, I forgot.
Yeah, so he does things like that a lot. But in defense of him, he's a very good filmmaker in terms of like the scene, like his good scenes are amazing. The pod racing scene is an incredibly well. The
pod racing scene is good. Yes, I think I cut out. You know, the commentators were 2 heads.
Oh yeah.
I think it was Greg Proops doing the voices. Get rid of them.
Was it?
Yeah, I think it's Greg Proops.
Oh,
you know that guy, right?
Yeah. It's quite a random. I suppose that again.
I could be
Simon Peggs and then you like one.
Oh yeah, for like 2 seconds. Yeah.
So I think it's probably just one of those.
I could be wrong about it being Greg Proops.
But I agree with you anyway. That they're a bit random.
Cut them out. That scene's amazing if you cut them out. I think it looks visually quite good. I don't think it's dated that much considering when it came
out. Some of the CGI is. I do agree, for example, how they used to make the spaceships before with a bit of Vaseline on the frickin' lens.
Yeah.
So that there was a bit of fog. So it looked like it was floating. Yeah, like the originals. The originals have aged better than the prequels.
Yeah.
True, but again, there's like I don't think it's the visuals that are good as such as like some of the like creatures they've made.
Yeah.
Like i.e. the Potterus, and like coming up with that idea was very clever.
Yeah.
Like it worked really well on screen.
And the plot is fine.
The plot is fine.
Like there's nothing wrong with the plot. I don't know why people say you can say there's something wrong with the script, fair enough, but I don't think there's anything wrong with the plot.
That's always a problem. I mean, the script was always
even in the originals sometimes there's cheesy bits in there. You're like, oh, what are you doing?
Parsecs, for example. No one checked the definition. Have you heard that? No. It's they're talking about the Millennium Falcon in the first in A New Hope, and he's like, oh, he did the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs or something like that. Is the line? But a parsec isn't a time; it's a distance.
Oh,
it's like saying I ran a marathon in 5 centimeters. It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, there's things like that. He just misses what he's trying, but yeah.
Okay, so the fight with Darth Maul, really good.
Yeah. Really good. That is one of the best soundtracks of anything.
That's a stunning piece of music, and it fits in really well with that scene.
Yeah.
I'm in defense of Jar Jar Binks. I'm sorry, I am. I think he's funny. I think he's funny. I don't care. I think he's funny.
Just throwing it there. I think he's very irritating, but
I think
he's not as irritating as people say.
No.
Does that make sense?
And like,
when have Star Wars any more irritating than Ewoks?
Exactly. When have they ever been short of irritating characters before? Like, why are they pinning her on this guy?
People are, oh, he has a stupid voice, and then you remember that the one character who's been in all of them is Chewbacca.
Yeah, well, yeah, his voice is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
this is a brilliant,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there are no one's saying this film is perfect.
No, I'm not. I'm definitely not.
The hatred of it is totally misled. It's a good sci-fi film.
It is a good sci-fi film. Yeah.
It's fun. It's a bit.
There's good world building.
There's good. The cast choices.
The cast choices are good. The twist with Queen Amidala. Good.
The kid is a bit irritating.
Oh, he's not that great.
Yippee!
But I like the fact they're at least giving him a backstory.
Yeah.
I know that's the entire point of the prequels anyway. But like when you look at him and like, oh my god, that's gonna be.
I think what I like about the prequels, and I stand by, is that because I think you're in the same as me. You like the prequels, but 2 and 3 are better. Well, two's a bit.
2 I can miss out. I like 1 and 3. Yeah.
Oh really? Fair. But I think the whole miss is like the politics and stuff. But like George Lucas always was going. He obviously made A New Hope as a standalone film. Yeah. Because he didn't know he was going to get any more out of them. But he wrote, I think, 9 films when he was first starting.
Yeah. I think
that went all the way back and all the way forward. So
there's going to be something like that eventually.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think the politics are a good example of.
I like the politics.
Yeah, reality ensues even in the most unrealistic settings.
Yeah,
and I like that in films.
There's aspects again I don't necessarily agree with.
Probably.
But there's a lot of it. I actually what I really enjoy with the prequels. There's 2 things I really enjoy. Even though I sort of at times I'm like, oh, I hate this stuff, but the like YouTube freaking video. Oh, this is how I would fix the prequels.
Yeah.
This is what I would change. These are the characters they need to have this in. I like that a film is able to do that.
Yeah.
Even though it's not necessarily a good film. It's like The Room with Tommy Wiseau.
Nobody's going to think this is how I fix this.
It sparked more argument. That film is more compelling.
Yeah.
For being like The Phantom Menace, where it misses is more interesting than just making a standard.
I'm going to change my vote for BVS. I'm going to say 6 instead of 8.
Okay.
I'm still on that. Yeah. Carry on. Sorry. Back to Phantom Menace.
But yeah, no, I think that's the one. So like people getting the freaking YouTube, like I can't remember what the word is, like getting into like YouTube spirals of just watching how the prequels could have been made differently. So I enjoy that, and to be honest, George Lucas, I thank you for the shit posting groups and all the terrible movies.
I really buy into those.
I think that is the single greatest gift anyone has ever brought to this world. That is literally what they are what the internet
more than life itself.
More than Simpsons Sith posting. And Star Wars shit posting and Simpsons shit posting are all I do now. So
when they say like all that bit's amazing, and then you're like, oh my god, it is.
It's just just all the terrible, freaking Kevin Spacey comes out with a bit of controversy, and all over the internet it's just Star Wars memes related to Kevin Spacey. It's how beautiful it is. You know what I mean?
So tangibly
memes are like
and he wasn't even in the film.
Do you know what I mean? Totally pointless. But yeah, I would be in defense of that film.
Yeah, I'm in defense of that film again. I think like characters are strong enough. They do what they're meant to. It does. The film in general does what it's meant to do. It introduces a world around the films that already exist.
Yeah.
If that's what he wants to do, and that's what it does. I do get like some level of. I know the kid's not great, and we've said that. But I do get some level of like emotional impact from looking at him going, oh my god, one day he will be Darth Vader.
Yeah, and the foreshadowing that film,
contrast
and the symbolism of that film are absolutely amazing.
On point, yeah.
The shadows
on fleek is what I call
the shadows in the background when the kid's standing.
Oh my god, yes,
things like that are absolutely genius.
That's cool. That's cool. I'm sorry.
That 2-second scene doesn't need to be there, but George Lucas wanted it there. Do you know what I mean? So he's a very good filmmaker again.
And I thought the thing with him and Padawan.
Yeah.
No, Padme, sorry. Padawan is the student's name. Yeah, but Padme. I thought that was well developed enough for what it was as well.
It's a bit weird in the second one, but yeah. I don't know. I think the first one, the Phantom Menace has enough going for it.
Yeah, it's a solid film.
It's a bit too sexy as well, in terms of the scene where
Deus Ex. Yeah, Deus Ex.
Is it Deus Ex?
Yeah, Deus Ex. I thought you said it's a bit too sexy.
Oh wow.
It's not enough though. That's my one criticism. Yeah.
When he gets in the spaceship at the end and he helps the flipping fight kind of by accident. That's a bit like okay.
There is a Deus Ex scene with Jar Jar Binks getting like a wire caught on his leg and swinging it around, and then the lasers shoot the enemy droids, and it's like that right there is why he needs to be in this film. You wouldn't want someone who's that to be against you.
Yeah.
And I think that for me justifies the fact he's in it completely.
And there's all the theories that he was actually going to be like a Sith Lord. That's, I mean, again, a film that sparked that is beautiful.
Yeah, like I wish it was, but I'd be sad.
Isn't that the top post on Reddit of all time?
I think theory.
The Star Wars theory that Jar Jar Binks was the original Sith Lord, and then he cut it. I think it's the top post on Reddit of all time.
That's amazing.
But yeah, so what's your rating? That's what we need to know.
Whew. You know what? Back to the 7 count.
Back to the 7. I think that's fine.
Yeah. Now I'll give it a 6 because I know it's not perfect.
Yeah, okay. 7's perfect.
Well, it's not far off. There's still 3 more. Three's not many, so yeah.
Yeah, so happy enough.
6 count then. Yeah, so that's all my films that I like that nobody else seems to, apart from the last one we figured out Declan also liked. So technically, that's 2 people in the world who like Phantom Menace. So cheers, George, lad, for that.
Cheers, George. Yeah, so that was finished.
He's paid us to say that.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Cheers for that as well, George. Okay, that's all we've got time for today on Amicable H. Catch us next time for Declan's picks on the same topic. Goodbye. Bye. I said goodbye in a previous one, so I'm keeping it up.
Oh, fair.